and I made it. So because of that girl, kind of mentored me. Throughout my life, I've had different mentorships from different females who have kind of helped me out. They're a little bit, if they're willing to help you, she helped me move into that direction of.
I'm just, when you went to go buy that, the person who sold it over what was their reaction to this beautiful young lady buying one of these magazines? Because I would assume that it would have been like weirder.
What's even when I was applying for we were taking the ballots and like stealing them out of them. And this lady was like, get out of there. Like she's like, you're too young to get in there. And she's like, she's in this. But I didn't originally buy them. My boyfriend went and bought like a bunch of magazines in addition to that. Just, funny. I cheated trying to get my. So
you mentioned having several mentors over the. That's something I wish I could have gotten, because there was one guy who I worked with, and he would line gigs up for me here and but I never like really learned anything off of, and pretty much everything that I did, and like in my private shows, even like on stage, shit that I had to figure out on my own. When other like veterans would find out what I was doing, and they're you're doing that. And then some of them would be, oh, there's a better way to do that. Or they would just, you're wasting, and am I wasting time? But they wouldn't tell me how I was wasting. And there's not a lot of camaraderie between like males. They're just kind of like everybody.
And I think that's how it's usually like, some people are,
A lot of my girlfriends up in like Reno and Tahoe that trip, like they're all like really tight. And I have never heard of any drama or cattiness or anything between any of them. And even some of the girls, where's your girlfriend? And at the time I was like, I don't know any guys. I'm the only, and it was just, that's so weird, because everybody else was just like so connected with each other. It's an actual, and it was just so weird because I wasn't.
We're always a newcomer.
Great.
And then you become the veteran.
I am. I had my Magic Mike Academy, right, where I was teaching, how to. One of his name is. He was on TV doing an interview for. He's like my sensei. Showed me the ropes and taught me how to do this. And I'm at home watching this shit on.
You taught him how to.
I taught him how to.
It's hard.
Hustle for tips because a lot of times when we go in stage, you're given a few moments in between the choreography to go out into the crowd and do little dances and stuff for the girls. You're like little lap, and then when certain cues come up in the music, you get back on stage and you do your choreography. You try to make it all dramatic. And I had a way of just hustling for extras. And I showed him, and he was just all about it. And then even after I left, I heard that he was still doing in the private. And I was kind of,
you need to give tips then on here. How to make more. If dancers are male.
I think a lot of them will already have their own little. And I'll definitely share some of my later on down the road. I had my own hustles that I would. And a lot of people would just not even think of, getting that money is just as any part of it. So if not like the most exciting part of it, because for me, it's just, it was just like, I would just see girls just stuffing money into their tops, and they were just, come get it. And I would just go bobbing for boobies and just come up with money in my mouth and glitter on it was fucking loved it.
Glitter you can't get rid of. Oh, my trick is do a lap dance and steal the money out of the front.
You know what girls do? They would take their wad of money and they would stuff it under their thigh between their teeth. And so when we would go in to do our lap, a lot of times we'd like grab the edges of the seat and just go in real, and just like lean in real, like we're going to just slide our hand down there. And they wouldn't even realize that they had left their money there. And then if we could feel it, we'd snatch that shit up and then just kind of maybe give them a little kiss on the cheek or something like that, and just think, and then just walk all of a sudden. They're like, what? And they're looking around, and
or they have those ones and you kind of excuse me and you like snatch one.
If it's on the ground,
But I would do the lap dances when I take it out of the door, and then I see it go through there.
I can see that.
I think I dropped it. Like they're looking off, and I'm just And I still expect to get, where's my $100?
The kind of the shitty thing of big stage is that any money that hits the ground, and I don't know how it is in other male reviews, but the ones
It's
that I was
gone
in,
if it hits it, right?
if it hits it gets pulled up at the end of the night and it gets distributed evenly. But like
that.
when you're wearing a little ass G-string, there's only so much money you can stuff in your. You would have to keep going backstage to empty all the cash into your bag and then go back out.
So sneaking, right?
You're not
What?
trying to sneak.
I would have.
Like everybody, at least the guys that I was working with, everybody was like really honest about that.
Dang.
Which I hella appreciated. But it was fucked up when I'd see a girl stuff 100 in there.
No.
And then her friend would come in to shove a 1 in, and her pulling her hand out would make the 100 fall on the floor. And I try to snatch it back up as soon as I had a couple dudes who were like, what the fuck? And I was good. Sorry. She tipped me 100, and her friend made it fall. And it was pretty cool about
that. So if it's on your,
it's on your. Okay, I mean,
but if it lands,
we would tip out our mom, and he would help us with all of our. He was in.
I love a house.
He would do all of our body waxing, and so he would take care of all that shit. And obviously, we'd pay him. But
so he had
we couldn't do the show without. He was, and we would tip him out at the end. I can't remember if we tipped out anybody. I think maybe we tipped out
the DJ.
No, the DJs got fat. Everything was on, so they would run had all the lights and everything programmed to it. When there would be the little sections between, and then they would do another track next set. We didn't tip out the DJs, and they never. They were always like pretty cool with us. They were like, "Oh, don't worry about it. We get paid." But at the other club that I was working at, that was pissed off that they would play some bullshit up on stage, like. It's just like some slow. Your
light shows really, and then the girl that's like tipping, she's got all these, they're like flashing up and down, like she looks all good up. But I feel like a DJ should do that anyway because that's your job to make the club look. It shouldn't be on who pays you.
This was an ad, which is like one of the biggest casinos in the world. So the DJs, they got a really fat, and for the most part, but if they're just feeling like being it, they would. But it wasn't always like it wasn't every single day. It was just like a few DJs that would win. A lot of times it was the guest DJs that were in for
like the worst song possible or the longest. Sometimes I would try and pick the shortest just to get out of it.
I think with the DJs fucking with me, it really forced me to become a professional dancer and not just stripper. Like stripper moves only go so far. And and when you get 9 sets in a night and each one of your sets is like for 10 minutes, you really have to, or else people stop tipping you and people stop paying attention. That's kind of how I developed the style that it's a little bit of Jabberwockies mixed in. That's really how I was able to be successful when, for as long as I did those. I don't think that clubs where they have females, they should not be tipping.
Sometimes they won't even put you on the list and like it seems like now that I'm thinking, I think I really got screwed over and I didn't even.
And I think it was just it changed back in the early 2000s with DJ tip. I think it's just something that a lot of clubs can't get away from.
Some clubs they don't allow.
So, with your experience with the clubs, they require to tip the DJ?
Not all. I think all of them, but the men's like they will literally stand, like they will come to you to get them. Which I always thought a tip was like, I didn't know it was like all. But sometimes they tell you it's, and you had that. That's a lot of. You need to be getting a receipt on that. But I've worked at clubs where they would charge, but I would get paid to work, and I would be with friends and a sister, and I would tell them that I got paid, and then they would go to the management and be like, "Where's my money?" And then I wouldn't get paid.
Oh, that's bullshit.
Or I would get a free dressing. So just because some people are paying and some are paying for dressing, other girls, they're always but I try to tell but you tell people and then they want the same treatment. And they should have done. If you're going to pay me, you should pay my.
I think it's a little bit more equal at those kind of clubs.
I still worked at a club and I got a free dressing room and other girls were paying like. Just like go-go dancing. Some girls dance free and then others they give money. Just like some girls get naked, others they give. So you're doing free, not realizing the next girl's getting. It's called they literally have the